Welcome, everyone, to Mizpah's Becoming a Father series, part 15 of our series, and it's presented by the Boiling Point Podcast and Mayhem Media and JD Designs. Let's just throw all three in there. Mizpah is the father, and I am just the schmuck who asks him questions. So, Mizpah, episode 15. Let's talk about that just for a second before we ask about little Sammie and her cold. That's where we left off. The last episode we did, she was having a cold. That was a couple of weeks ago. We had a couple of weeks between shooting the last episode and this one. Episode 15, man. We started this just after she was born, and we haven't been going quite a year yet in the series, but we're going to talk a little bit later how she just turned a year old. Did you think we were going to be going? Did you think after the initial couple episodes that we would still be going?
Yeah, it was kind of always my plan to at least make it to the year. And at this point, I kind of want to just keep going with it because now it's more about just, having a chronicle of and, proof of the journey for myself more than anything.
Yeah. I understand that.
Yeah, I just can't believe it's been a year, quite honestly. But then when I stop and think about, everything that's happened in a year, that's even more mind-boggling.
It is.
Yes, Sammie's cold. She did all right. She was a little clingy, a little, just a little off. But overall, she was okay. Of course, how that goes. She gets a sniffle. I end up with the plague.
Yeah.
And was pretty out of it for like a week. And then, of course, I decided to share with my wife, and the breeze was sick for about a week. And then we thought Sammie might have been catching it again. And she was just a little sniffy and had a runny nose for a day, and then it just went away.
Well, that's good.
So
got lucky with that.
I don't know what that was, but
yeah, well, I kind of got something. It was kind of going around, a little bit. My mom caught it bad, but I take my vitamins, and it's been keeping most stuff that the house gets, at bay. If I get it, it's usually a mild version of it. So that's good that she only caught a mild version of whatever it might have been.
Yeah, it is, because we were a little worried because I can't remember the name of it right now, but there's a really nasty bug that affects babies, and that was really running rampant around here around the time she started getting sick. So we were concerned that was what she had caught. And the doctor said that, just kind of keep an eye out, and, if things got too bad, then to take her to the hospital. And what I didn't know was apparently the fever comes with this virus that was going around. And he said as long as it didn't get above 101, she'd be okay. And she didn't. She might have spiked a fever maybe for a day or so, but that was the highest was like 99.
Yeah, that's kind of what
because she was wrapped up in a blanket.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got too, though. I caught a little thing. I wasn't really sick or anything, but I caught a mild fever. It never went above 100. It was always in the 99s. But yeah, that's kind of what I had there. So,
but yeah,
I guess we both got lucky.
We had her first birthday party.
Yeah, so she turned a year old now,
and that was interesting.
Yeah, the pictures in the video look like she had a really great time, though. Like, she really looked like she was enjoying it.
Oh, yeah, she had a blast because it was a big concrete floor. She was able to motor around in her little walker thing, and she was living it up when she was able to actually be in it long enough, because you get that many family members in one room, and
they all want to hold her.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like pass the baby.
Yep.
Several times I was like, okay, who's got her now?
Yeah. Where's my kid?
Yeah, pretty much. Where's my kid and who has her?
Yeah, where the heck is my kid? You know,
And
I don't mind that you guys are like, holding her and stuff, but keep me apprised on who has her at least, right?
And we had one little snafu that happened, and I learned a valuable lesson. You can't pressure cook hot dogs.
Yeah.
I was rushing around trying to get things set up and ready and in time. And I have one of those pressure cookers you can use as a like a crock pot as well. And I needed to get things done quickly. So I had set it on a setting going, oh, well, this will cook it on high. Didn't even dawn on me. And I wasn't hearing the advice that was coming from my loving wife that would pressure cook. And yeah, I had a geyser of hot dog and sauerkraut juice that went up the wall, on the table, on the floor. It was a mess. So I'm already running behind. I've got to clean that up. And the only person I can be mad at is myself.
Yeah, and you're thinking, dang it, the breeze is never going to let me live this down now.
So they were still edible. They just looked really deformed and weird.
Well, edible, let's be realistic. We're talking about hot dogs here. So edibles, kind of a loose term. A loose term. Yeah, we're playing it fast and loose here. So
so I told everybody they were Franken dogs.
Yeah.
But
no one bought it.
It was a good time and a lot of work. And this is probably one of the easiest parties we'll ever throw for many years to come.
The next 16 years at least.
But the more we do it, the better we'll get.
Yeah.
At least I hope.
I don't want to diminish. I don't want to crush your hopes and dreams today. So I'm gonna let you live in this fantasy world that you've created for yourself.
I was exhausted by the end of the day, and you know me, I don't do well with like large groups.
Yeah,
and a lot of noise, and well, it was a child's birthday party. It was a large group and a lot of noise.
Yep.
But I'm glad. I mean, me and the Breeze talked about it because she's one.
Yeah.
She's not gonna remember it at all. Like,
no, probably not.
But it didn't feel right not doing something.
You know? Yeah, it's more for you guys and the family, I think, than it is for her at that point.
Absolutely. I mean, it very much was. And that was kind of the mindset that we had to come to terms with because, we keep saying it's all about, her and it's her birthday party and it was, doing it for her. But in reality,
yeah,
we weren't.
Yeah.
And, it is what it is. Now, next year, it's going to be a completely different story because it will be, at that point, she might remember that.
Yeah. Well,
maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
there's a possibility.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and nothing else, like I said, from the pictures in the video, it looks like she had an amazing, a great day.
She was absolutely exhausted too. Like after the party, she slept for like 3 hours.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me either.
She just was like a lithium battery. She was just out.
Yep.
But it was good. We got a lot of people showed up. I think we had upwards of 45 people, maybe closer to 50. So
that's why Uncle JD did not attend. That's too many people. That's too many people.
And like I said, it really cemented the fact that it's been a year.
Yeah.
And the whole time I just kept saying, like, where did the time go? Where did the year go? Like, feels like we just brought her home not that long ago.
Yeah.
And then I stopped and started thinking about all the things that have happened in the year. I mean, when we brought her home, she was under 5 pounds.
Yeah. It
She
seems
could
like,
fit in my elbow to my wrist.
yeah.
And
It seems like we just shot the first episode of the series, like it's a year. And I'm like, wait a minute, didn't we just started this thing?
yeah,
How
right.
is it a year already?
So,
But,
she's gone.
15 episodes, 12 months later, you know,
Yeah, and the fact that she's gone from, this tiny little, absolutely adorable package that you had to keep wrapped up in a swaddle to
yeah.
being 27 inches long, I think is what her last doctor's appointment was. Give or take an inch. I have it wrote down somewhere.
Yeah.
And she's almost 19 pounds. Now that's for a 1-year-old, that's small.
Yeah.
She's petite. The doctor said she's in the 27th percentile for height, weight, but he's not concerned. She was a small baby when she was born.
Yeah.
Bree is not very tall. I'm average height, so good things come in small packages.
Yeah.
And you've met my mother.
Yeah. She's very nice.
And she's also relatively short.
Yes, she is. She is very short. I didn't get a chance to meet your dad before he passed, but I imagine you have to take after him.
My dad actually was shorter than me as well.
No, didn't mean in height. I meant in terms of like personality and attitude. Your mother's very nice, and you must take after your father.
I definitely do inherit a lot of my traits from my dad. But I learned a lot from my mom too.
Oh, of course.
But yeah, so now she's walking around, still holding on to things, but walking.
Yeah.
It's only a matter
That's
of
crazy.
At this point, it's just a matter of her letting go. Building up the confidence to let go. She can do it because she'll stand and she'll take like a step or two if she's reaching for something.
Yeah.
But she's not comfortable enough with walking without hanging on to something.
That's crazy.
Says so many words.
Oh, really? Well, she hasn't said too many in front of me yet.
Her new thing now is she'll point and say, "Look." Mm-hmm. It comes out, "Ook," or "Yook." In fact, she did that at the doctor's office, and he was like, "All right, so I can check that box off."
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's starting to, like, her babble is actually starting to sound more like a conversation.
Yeah.
She's using different. It's developing more like a speech pattern.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And her personality is just growing by the minute.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that I'm going to get paid back for
you are
everything I have ever done in life.
Yep, you are.
Because feisty is.
Yeah, last time you guys were over, I was holding her and last time, the previous time you guys were over, she let me hold her a little bit, as long as she could see you guys. She let me drive her around. This time at first, she didn't want to have anything to do with that at all. She was screaming and crying, and it wasn't until actually I had to take her out of your line of sight.
Yeah.
And then she settled down and relaxed and, enjoyed, driving back and forth in the chair. But that was weird because I thought for sure it was going to be, she needs to stay in your line of sight, not, let's take you out of the line of sight and see if that helps. And, it did.
Yeah. So part of that is babies go through this thing. It's called object permanence, and they get a little clingy during this phase where they don't want mom or dad to leave their sight.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, exactly. It just takes her a couple minutes after you get her away and you get her distracted with something else and she settles down.
So yeah, it's kind of interesting right now because she's also fighting, like for example, being strapped into her car seat. She absolutely hates being restrained, but she loves car rides.
Yeah.
The two go hand in hand.
Yep.
And she is really good at being rigid like a board.
Yeah.
So, diaper changes. It's like wrestling an alligator in a death roll. That's kind of about how getting her in her car seat is right now. Limbs are going every which direction except for where you want them.
Oh man.
And the whole time she's giving me the devil.
Yeah.
And in her she is chewing me out in baby language.
Yeah, yeah.
You can absolutely tell that that's exactly what she is doing.
Yeah.
And she's telling me she ain't having any of it.
Yeah.
She's starting to get a little less cuddly and a little less like wanting to be, very less wanting to be still. She's constantly wanting to be on the go, constantly wanting to crawl, constantly wanting to explore, constantly wanting to just go, 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 go.
Yeah.
And fight and sleep. She's won every medal you can. She is a master at that because she can be so tired that her eyes are all but rolling in the back of her head. And she will catch herself and wake herself back up. She'll be miserable, but she won't want to go to sleep.
Yeah. Well, I don't believe that's ever going to go away.
No.
My 8-year-old nephew fights sleep all the time, and it's just awful.
I think she is going to take after me with sleep, which is very unfortunate for her because I'm a night owl. I'm not a morning person, and waking me up in the morning takes practically an act of Congress or a just natural disaster of some sort.
Yeah, I was just saying, act of Congress. I don't think it's that unreasonable to get you up.
Oh, you'll have to ask the breeze.
Listen, it took 4 votes to elect a new speaker. That's all I'm saying. That's not political talk for this one. Now you can tell when this episode was filmed.
So in that case, it's worse than an act of Congress.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous waking me up in the morning, and I've been that way from day one.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that she's going to very much take after me in that aspect because she doesn't want to go to sleep till at the earliest 10 o'clock usually. Now, if we've had a really, really busy day, maybe 9:30, 9 o'clock is pushing it on a good night. But typically it's around 10 o'clock. And naps are starting to get a lot shorter and a lot less scheduled.
Yeah.
She still takes them, but not happily.
Yeah. I imagine you'll probably go through phases of that as she grows over the next couple of years. There's going to be times in her life where naps are good, and although she'll probably always fight it, but there'll be times where she'll probably take good naps, and then there'll be times where she, doesn't take good naps and only takes short little cat naps or something.
Yeah.
I think that'll be that'll be something
just natural.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that's just something that,
But yeah, she she's definitely developing her own personality.
Oh yeah.
You've seen it.
Yeah.
And she still enjoys afternoon, when I get home from work, snuggles with dad on the couch. But now, the snuggles with dad on the couch, she has to be incredibly exhausted. Or it's not snuggles, it's turn dad into a jungle gym while laying on the couch.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm okay with.
Yeah. Well, you were holding her. We were talking the other day on video chat, and you were trying to hold her, and then she was up at your neck, and then she was on the other arm, trying to climb up your shoulder, and then you had her sideways at one point, and
oh yeah, she will crawl herself into positions that you didn't realize she could do. And the way she sleeps at night, she'll be at the head of the crib, the foot of the crib, sideways in the crib, upside down in the crib. Like, yeah. Watching that girl sleep is exhausting in itself. But, I mean, and then you have these moments where she cracks herself up.
Yeah.
She'll be sitting there and all of a sudden she'll just chuckle and give this belly laugh. And I have no idea what she's thinking.
Yeah.
I have no idea what she found so funny, but it was funny to her.
Yeah.
And those things are neat because it shows that she's really starting to develop like that internal thought process a lot more. She'll sit and she'll play with some of her toys and stuff on her own, and she engages with things on her own. The diner that we go to, they have a claw machine that has these little rubber ducks in it. Well, I had discovered she absolutely loves these things.
Oh yeah.
So of course, what does Daddy do? Win her as many as he possibly can.
Yep.
And then I figure out where the guy that owns the claw machine is getting them from, and she ends up with a box of 150 of them.
Well, that's a little much.
Yeah, well,
I think I would have kept trying to win them out the machine.
No, I spent less money buying that box.
That's a good point. Yeah, you're probably right.
Than I did to try to win 10 of those things.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So
you won 10 of them. Oh man.
Yeah. But it was really cool because we were sitting there eating, and she took two of the ducks and she had them and she was making noises and she was moving them like they were talking to each other.
Oh yeah.
And it was the first time I had watched her it was very much, you could see like the imagination going on there.
Yeah.
And that was really cool to see. Because she was very much like the two ducks were having a conversation with each other.
Yeah, yeah. Probably mommy and daddy.
Oh, probably. But another thing is she's started wanting to eat the food we're eating.
Oh.
Now she only has 4 teeth.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of our food she can't eat yet. But we've started giving her, we'll take pieces of salt, like the soft part of a French fry, or some mashed potatoes, or really soft green beans. Anything that doesn't involve
too much chewing. Yeah.
And she thinks she's getting away with something.
Yeah.
But I don't know where she puts it, because tonight was a good example. We had gone out to eat, but before we left, we fed her dinner because she told us she was hungry.
Yeah. Not in so many words, mind you.
No, not so much in words, but in action. We knew it was time to feed her. And we have gotten her to tell us when she's full. She'll, most of the time, she'll put her hands up and just, give us the symbol like all done. And then she'll shake her head no. So, and we'll give her a little bit, and then we'll try to give her another bite, see if she changed her mind. And if that happens a few times in a row, then nope, she's done. So, and we have a good idea of how much she eats. So, we usually know about when that time's coming. But we literally just finished feeding her, put her in the car, and went over to get something to eat. And then she proceeded to sit there and eat like half of my order of French fries.
Yeah.
And some of the soup. And I have no idea where she put it. I think she must have brought her hollow leg or something.
Yeah. Well, that's good though.
But maybe she's getting ready to go through a growth spurt. That's very possible.
Yeah.
And I think experiencing the new things, I think that's exciting.
Yeah. And
she might have been full, but say what?
It's good for her to do that, for her to be trying new things and stuff. You would definitely want to keep that going. Yeah.
So now we're starting to get into, we've experienced, a lot of the firsts, like, her first time standing, first time, walking assisted, crawling, first words, first time, even going all the way back to like the first time she recognized somebody walking into a room.
Yeah.
Like, that look of recognition, things like that. Now we're going to start getting into more like developmental stuff. And that's where we're starting to head to now. So that's why I said about, the playing with the ducks and starting to show the imagination part of that.
Yeah.
And I really look forward to seeing that kind of stuff too. Because that starts, in the way I see it, that starts showing, like, letting her personality show.
Yeah. Well, she's definitely developing personality. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. I hope her sassiness dials down just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, you can hope all you want.
Considering her first word was
Yeah. And yeah, she's not. Yeah, she's definitely. She'll be running your house soon.
And even the doctor said she is incredibly, incredibly smart. There is nothing that gets past her.
Yeah.
But that's been kind of a common theme from day one. Like, I had told you she had come out of the womb looking around like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And even the nurse that delivered her or the doctor that delivered her was stunned because her eyes were open and she was looking right at her like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah. I'm here. Now what? That sounds like something you'd say.
It's just, every day she does something that amazes me.
Yeah.
And every day she does something that frustrates me. Every day she does something that makes me happy and proud of her. And like every day I go through the gambit of emotions.
Yeah.
And if at this point, I would say being a father is nothing like I expected it to be, but so much more at the same time. It's a whirlwind. Again, like you had said, it feels like we just started this series like weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it's been a year.
Yeah.
But then when you stop and think about everything that has happened in that year, then you just stop and go, wow, like all of that happened in a year. It's how fast a baby grows in a year is amazing in itself.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
And you've been able to witness it firsthand. So it's not the same, but you still get to.
Yeah, it's not the same, but every time she comes over, she's a little bit bigger than she was the last time. And since I don't get to see her as often as you guys and stuff, so
Right.
I'm trying every time you guys come over. I always try and hold her because she's going to eventually get big enough that I'm not going to be able to hold her. Then she'll be sitting on the footrest, and then she'll be having to ride on the back, and
Yep.
and then she'll be having her own car. Let's not talk about
it. Yeah, I've already said that the Breeze will teach her how to drive to get her license. I will teach her how to really drive.
Yeah, and hopefully teach her how to change tires and do an oil change and all the rest of that stuff.
Oh yeah, she's gonna know life skills.
Yeah, absolutely. And guns and all that.
Oh yeah, hunting, fishing, racing,
football,
baseball.
Yeah, all sports.
Whatever, all of it.
All sports, Olympics too.
If as long as she's interested in it, I will never discourage her from trying something she's interested in.
Yeah. That's good.
And that was something we had talked about because we have friends who have kids that wanted to try out for soccer and wrestling and football and this and that, and so that was just a conversation we had, and I had said I will never discourage her from trying anything that her heart desires. However, if she, for example, decides she wants to try soccer, you're not going to try soccer for a game or two and just be like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, you got to finish the year.
At least do a season.
Yeah, the season. Yeah, finish the season. Yeah, if you're going to start something, then you're going to have to see it to the end. Absolutely. Yeah. If you start something like that, definitely finish it. I would agree with that also.
And that was where we kind of had our common ground with that. Obviously we're not going to force her to continue it after a season if she's absolutely miserable and decides it's not for her. But at least give it a season.
Yeah.
Because those first few games, they're gonna suck.
Yeah. And not only that, but you can't, in my opinion, in my very humble opinion, it's not just about enjoying it, whether or not they're going to enjoy it. Certainly, you need to experience something for a bit before you know whether or not you really enjoy it or not, I think. But also, you don't want to teach her that it's okay to just start something and then quit it no matter what.
Well, have the follow through.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's more about what that is, in my opinion, than anything else.
Well, that's kind of where I was going with that.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So yeah, and I would agree with that as well.
So, and part of that conversation was if she wants to get into
what if she wants to play
martial
football?
Arts or something, football,
what
whatever.
What if she wants to play football? Then
I'll let her try out.
You're okay now, because I've talked about this with some other people, and they have their concerns, and I can certainly respect their concerns. And I don't have any children of my own, let alone a daughter. But I think I'm with you. If she wanted to try it, if she wanted to make it happen, then she should be able to try and do that. What are you'd be okay though with her trying out for football and being tackled by boys and stuff like through high school and stuff, if she wanted to play in high school, for example?
What I would do is explain to her all of the possibilities and all of the different the pros and the cons, and let her make an informed decision based on that.
Yeah.
After that, if she still wants to try out for football, then I will let her try out for football.
Letting her know first that she's got an uphill battle, and likely going to, face some ridicule at the beginning and stuff. She'll have to prove herself, twice over even, in that type of situation.
Yeah, and not only that, but
she shouldn't have to. I don't want anybody to mistake. I don't want anybody to mistake that I'm thinking that she has to. That she shouldn't have to. But that's the way I perceive it. If a girl joins a football team, yeah, they might be welcoming and stuff. But when people aren't looking, you're probably gonna face a little bit of, hazing.
I mean, yeah. Let's be real. It happens. Whether it should or not is a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect, and real world is real world.
But that's what I was asking you. You'd prepare her for
we would have a very long, in-depth conversation.
Yeah, for potential hazings, and hey, this is okay, but this is where the line is.
And she would also have to understand that, being a girl and being physically, how do I want to word this? On the smaller side compared to most boys, that the injury risk would be higher for her as well.
Yeah.
And, long-term repercussions of that. I mean, for me, I can attest to that firsthand. Like, I went out for football, ended up blowing my knee out, and that's something I've had to deal with my whole life.
Yeah.
So, that's an example of another one of the pros and cons of, joining a physically demanding sport.
Yeah.
And it's not just football. It's any physically demanding sport.
Yeah, really. Softball, baseball, volleyball. Yeah, really any
rugby, kind of, lacrosse.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
like soccer,
really any sport you can really.
In general.
Yeah. Yeah. Any sport in general, you can really, there's potential for injury.
And it doesn't matter, boys sports, girls sports, it doesn't matter. There's always a very high risk of injury. And, but again, that's a conversation we'd have, and whatever she would decide, I would support. Doesn't mean I would necessarily be happy about it.
Yeah.
But it's her decision, and I would support that.
Well, I think that sounds like a good plan, and that's certainly how I would probably handle it as well. But I don't have children. I want to make sure everybody knows that. People get offended, people who don't have children comment on things. So I just, that's why I want to make sure the viewers know that when I comment, it's from the position of, an uncle, not a parent, because I don't have.
You might not have children, but you've spent your whole life around children.
Yeah.
So even though you yourself don't have, a son or daughter, you still have a lot of experience in the field of helping raise children.
Yeah, certainly.
So while somebody who hasn't had a lot of that experience, compared to you, like, at least you have an informed and educated opinion.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah, it's not that I'm speaking from a place of ignorance. That's right. Well, I think unless there was something else you wanted to go into.
No, it was just kind of this was more about, recapping the fact that it's been a year.
Yeah.
Kind of giving a overview of like how the year went and what we have to look forward to in the coming years. Hopefully I'm ready for that.
Yeah. Well, I don't think there's any way to actually be prepared. but I'm sure you'll be. There's no way to be prepared, but I'm sure you'll be prepared.
As well as prepared as I can be.
Yeah.
There are days where I just have to remind myself that I'm doing the best I can with the resources I have at this moment. And that's all I can really expect of myself.
Yep, absolutely. And you follow the series. It releases every 2 weeks, and that it'll be regularly. Now we shouldn't run into any more problems with getting episodes uploaded or put on our channel. So stay tuned. Every 2 weeks, we'll be releasing these episodes. This has been part 15. So look for in 2 weeks. Look for part 16. I'm not sure what that topic's going to be yet, so I can't really promote it too much. But leave us a comment. We'll be happy to talk about, if you want to leave a comment, we'd be happy to talk about some comments in the future episodes. So please do that and share it out. We're looking to grow not just the show, the Boiling Point podcast, but we want the series to continue to grow as well. So please share out this series. It's doing pretty good right now. So we're definitely going to be continuing it for the foreseeable future. There are some fans of it, so thank you for that. And please, those of you who like these episodes, please share them out. That would help us a lot. Marcus Frederiksen does the music. Make sure you check him out, reverbnation.com/Marcus Frederiksen, and share out his music. And also check out the apparel line that was created in his memory, facebook.com/thehumankind, and pick yourself up some apparel and tell Mia the Boiling Point podcast sent you. For Mizpah, the executive producer of the Boiling Point podcast. This is his series, Mizpah is Becoming a Father. I am JD, the host, and that's the end.
Good night.